All right, cool. Okay, here we go. Three quick points, little comments from you guys, and we'll be done. All right, first one is this. I want you to write down your income goal with LifeWave. What is it? Doesn't matter if you write it down weekly, monthly, or annually, but write down what your income goal is with LifeWave. Okay. Now, I want you to think about what it takes to get to that number. I'm going to read you a quote. The recipe for frustration is taking on something that requires a whole person, but only giving it half your time. Look at what you're trying to do, i.e., that income you just wrote down. What is required? Some things can only be done well when they are pursued with full effort. I want you to think about that again. The recipe for frustration is taking on something that requires a whole person, but only giving it half your effort. So my question to you at point number one, and this is for self-evaluation here, is is your income goal really requiring a whole person to get there? But if you're honest, you're really only giving it half effort. That's self-evaluation. And listen, I said last week we spent a lot of time on you're your own CEO, or maybe that was the training call Monday I did. I can't remember, but and what it means to be the CEO of your business. You know, if I sat here and wrote down, hey, I want $5,000 a week, that's a lot of money. You know, that's multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. That's CEO type. I just had a buddy interview for a CEO role of a nonprofit, and the position paid $250,000. Well, he's a CEO of managing, about 60 to 80 million dollars a year of money rolling in. Well, that CEO has a mindset and works every single day, right, at a standard that potentially maybe we find ourselves not working at for whatever goal R is. And you say, well, Kyle, I only want, my goal is 1,000 a week. Okay, your goal is 1,000 a week long term. Is that's your big goal is, you want to make 50 grand a year here. 50 grand a year, most people work 40 hours a week for that, right? I'm not telling you that you have to work 40 hours a week to get there because this business is different and we know that. But I am telling you that if you're frustrated, potentially you're really only giving half of an effort for a goal that really takes all of you. Remember, I think it was on this call last week, we talked about the train and how once the train gets up and it gets going, there's very little that can stop it, but initially it takes a lot of energy, just like a rocket, right? And so if you want to get to your goal, remember you have to be highly energized, highly motivated, and work very hard to get this thing off the ground. Okay? So that's number one. Don't let yourself be frustrated when what you dream of takes a whole person and you're only giving it half an effort. All right? All right, now number two. What advice have you gotten lately from somebody that might sting a little bit, but you really know it's true? Maybe it was your spouse, maybe it was your kids, friend, someone in this business. Maybe they mentioned something and just made you think. But what is it that you're like, that's kind of hard to hear because I don't want to change in that area or I don't want to do that, but that's really true. And then to parlay off of that question, the second question to this is what advice or what thoughts and feelings are you having right now that you're ignoring? Like what is it that you know you need to do that you're not? What is it that you're doing that you know you need to stop that you're not? What advice do you need to give to yourself? Here's point number two. Here's the message. It's hard to learn or accept advice when you feel defensive. I'm speaking to myself, guys, okay? So don't get mad at me. All right. Relax. You are capable, and you can recover from whatever you face. And here's the final point. You can't accept feedback. Excuse me. You can accept feedback without taking it personally. What is the moment teaching you? The people that I enjoy hanging out with the most are the people that are on a constant growth journey. The people that I find myself distancing myself from are people that will never hear advice, will never listen to other people and learn from them, think they have it all figured out. One of the days that kind of changed my world in the direct sales space was when I was 21 years old, and it's a long story, but I had this guy that was a local entrepreneur heard that I was involved in something and he wanted to hear, and so he comes over to the house, and by house that's being generous. I lived in this tiny little place, right, fresh out of college, and we sit down and I pop in a DVD, and I was like, hey, do you know anything about XYZ? And he said a statement. He goes, no, but educate me. And it caught me so off guard because I'm 21 years old. I've never done anything substantial professionally. He's about 35 at that time. He's owned multiple businesses. He's been very successful. And he sits down in my room and says, no, educate me. That's the type of person I want to be. I believe with all of my heart that everybody has a story to tell and a lesson to be learned if you have the ears to hear and the heart to receive. Everybody. Guys, I learn from my kids every day, right? Almost every day. I literally learn something from my kids. So, once again, you can accept feedback without taking it personally. So, that advice that somebody else gave you, or somebody said something that made you think, or whatever it is that you know you need to be doing or need to stop doing, don't take it personally. You're capable of overcoming it. In fact, you actually want to hear those things. Can I be honest? Without hearing the things from other people and from your conscience of the ways that you need to improve and grow, you just stay the same. And we all know what happens when you stay the same. You never stay the same. Actually, you actually get worse. You only think you're staying the same because you get better or you get worse every day, right? Okay. Number three, what problem right now in your life is really small, but you're ignoring it? What's something real small in your life that's a problem that you're ignoring? Okay, here's the quote. When you ignore a problem that is small enough to handle, it often grows into a problem too big to manage. Say that again. When you ignore a problem that is small enough to handle, it often grows into a problem that's too big to manage. John Maxwell always says the best time to have a hard conversation is right now. Never let it go. Have it now. If you could write down, and again, I'm speaking to the choir here, I'm talking to myself, don't get mad at me. If you could write down a problem in your life that you can handle that's small, you need to handle it. Because there will be a time, whether it's days, weeks, months, or years, that it comes and it's all of a sudden out of control and it's too big for you to even manage. You need to handle it. Okay. And then lastly, everything externally doesn't necessarily matter. It only matters when you let it in internally. And the quote is this: all the water in the world cannot sink a ship unless it gets inside the ship. All the negativity in the world cannot sink a person unless it gets inside the mind. Think about that. All the water in the world, 70% of Earth cannot sink a ship unless it gets inside. All the negativity in this world cannot sink you unless you actually believe it and let it get inside. Those are the lies that you have to catch and throw out, right? Okay. Those are my points today. Three simple, yet when I was doing this anyways, very convicting, profound points. I'll open it up to you guys, see what you have to say.
I'd like to speak today. I usually don't. This is
Yeah.
Jane Helgeson.
Hey,
Um,
Jane.
Hi there. We had an opportunity yesterday. We brought my daughter's dog to the emergency room twice in one day. And we had a doctor who was great, gave us a different diagnosis that was a little more hopeful for her. But at the end, we said, "What do you think about chiropractic?" Because we take her to Dr. Tara to have treatments. And she was so open. And we finally got on the patches, and she was blown away, so excited. She gave me her phone number. I right away texted her. And not only did I said, "I'm sending more tomorrow," she not only gave me a thumbs up, she gave me a heart response. I just had to share that. It's so motivating. And I praise God because I've needed a little more push. I've needed a little more help. And whatever happens, she's given me that motivation. I had to share that.
Praise God. Thanks, Jane.
Praise
That's amazing.
God.
It's amazing. I love that. There's so many people eager, eagerly waiting for you to share, I should say. So good. Who else wants to share something?
Hey Kyle,
Hey, Tracy.
can you hear me? Sorry, I
I,
can't have my audio, video doesn't work on my phone here. So,
that's okay.
um, but thanks. Hi everybody. Thanks for sharing what you did. It actually was kind of interesting because just this morning I watched a video by her name's Terry Savelle Foy. I don't know if you've ever heard of her, but she talked about 5 things she does every day and kind of went down exactly what you were talking about today, some of the things, the challenges that you put out there. But one of the first things that stuck out was the question. She said you can't have $1 million dream with a minimum wage habits. And that really stuck out to me, that when you ask about the what's your dollar amount, and I have this dollar amount, but it's been, I've been consistent every day, but I kind of stayed in the same place. And just today it was that challenge of, okay, what is it that I have to go to the next level to do different habits. And so just really looking at what are some of the habits in my day that I have to change. And then the other thing she said is you behave in a manner consistent with how you see yourself. And that was another challenge when you just had said that same thing. What is something that you need to, maybe advice you've received that you need to really change or look at yourself? And there are some things that if you're listening to to the Lord, or just like challenges that, um, voices that you're hearing yourself say, it's very obvious that there are things the way I see myself that I need to change. And so that was another challenge. And then just the whole thing, writing down your dreams and goals. We all know that, but she talked about you'll never leave where you're at until you see where you'd rather be. And just writing those things down, and then doing the dream boards and putting myself in those such scenarios. Like, she always wanted to write a book. So she took a picture of herself with a book in front of a bookstore, already saying like she wrote it, and a year later she had this book written. And then two of the others was, what's more important than what you put into your mouth is what is coming out of your mouth. And I've realized the negativity and just the words that we speak, and how when I change that and start to put the words into practice, how they just changes everything, my day, where I'm headed, and all of that. So that was the other thing. And lastly, change what I'm saying, and I will change what I'm seeing. And um, and that was my other challenge, is just how important the words are that come out of our mouth, and when we are speaking truth, and not just to others but to ourselves, how it really creates a different way that we see things. So those are the things that I kind of took away today and went right according to with what you were teaching on today. So thank you.
Tracy, that's gold. Thank you for sharing that. Oh my gosh, those are so good. No, I don't know who that is, but man, that's good.
I can send you it's on YouTube. I just
Awesome.
I just came upon it this morning and watched it, and it was just what I needed.
That's so good. That's so good. And that's so true. And by the way, you can't ever speak what you first don't think.
That's
Like,
true.
you know how people say, well, you're speaking without thinking? It's not technically
Mhm.
true. They mean you're speaking without cognitively catching your thoughts, but it's in here before it ever leaves your mouth. So what's so important is what enters your mind, right? As well
Yeah.
as what comes out of your mouth. Yeah, it's so good. I love that.
Yeah. That's good. Thanks.
Kyle, I just wanted to add on to that. I'm reading this book. I think I shared with you guys. It's called The Mountain Is You. It's really good with my team. And something this week that stood out that kind of goes along with that and our thoughts is it says you have to remember that your feelings, while valid, are not often real. They are not always accurate reflections of reality. They are, however, always accurate reflections of our thoughts, and our thoughts change our feelings. And I was just like, that is so right on. And, we just have to be so guarded of our thoughts because, yeah, our feelings are controlled by our thoughts. And then, like Tracy was saying, sometimes I think our thoughts then become the words that we speak, right? If we're not careful. And another thing that they said that really made me kind of think was they were talking about intuitive thoughts versus intrusive thoughts. And intuitive is, I looked this up in the dictionary, was just, I mean, I know what these words mean, but I kind of did like a deeper dive. And intuitive means understanding or knowing something instinctively without needing conscious reasoning, evidence, or formal instruction. Just like, as a Christian, I know who God says I am, and I know what he's calling me to do, and I know what he's calling me to do in LifeWave in my business, right? I know that. But we can sometimes let intruding thoughts or invasive thoughts come into our minds and literally control our day, control our business, control our joy, And I looked up the word intrude, to enter or force oneself into a place, situation, or private matter where one is not wanted, invited, or expected. Invasive, something that intrudes, spreads aggressively, or enters a space where it is unwanted or causes harm. And so I just kind of felt like through reading this book, I felt like God was kind of just showing me, like reminding me of like, you need to be on guard with intrusive and invasive thoughts. Um, just personally, right, in life, and then also in business, to be guarding my thoughts. Because, yes, often they become our feelings, and then we start speaking things, and then suddenly we've talked ourselves out of being successful in Life Wave, or, we're not a good mom, or whatever it is, our thoughts can control. So just like we would like lock our doors at night, right? And maybe we have cameras on our house or whatever to protect our home from an intruder. We need to protect our
Mm.
mind from, thoughts that shouldn't be there. So anyway, just want to share that.
So you guys are full of gold this morning, Carrie. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. The one Joe got a life coach like 3 years ago, and one of the first profound thoughts that she took away was your thoughts control your feelings. Always. Always. So when you say I feel, you need to take a moment and go, I feel this way because I'm thinking XYZ. Thoughts control your feelings. That is so good. So good. Lucy, you were going to share something I saw?
Yes, two things actually. I wanted to ask Jonaka if he was okay with me to read his message aloud because he says it's very windy where he is, so the audio might not be good.
Awesome. Yeah, go for it. I'm sure
Okay,
if you
well,
put
I'm
it in
gonna
the
read it
chat,
anyway.
he'll let it. Yeah.
So Jonakai says that he wanted to share one of the questions you asked us about something we've been putting off. So he says, for me, it's two hard conversation I need to have. One is someone I need to forgive. The other is someone I need to ask for forgiveness. Both of these have been bothering me for months. But I realize when we can clear the mind and purify the heart, we can be of better service and in better resonance, harmony with the growth and success we are asking us for. So we can't take the old baggage with us. So that's his message.
So good, Jonah.
Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah, baggage gets very heavy, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Very heavy. And all of a sudden your house starts to fill up with it.
Yes. I mean,
So,
forgiveness is so massively powerful. Massively. I first heard it from Wayne Dyer, who forgave his father, who he profoundly hated. And once he did that, he became really successful. Hmm.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh, that's good. You guys are good. I love it.
And okay, one more thing about me. So what I keep putting off is, speaking to complete strangers sometimes. For example, when I'm shopping and I'm all in my world. But today, I decided I just need to change it. So there was a guy playing saxophone in the street. He was busking. And I went and gave him a fiver, and he was very happy about it. And we started chatting. He stopped playing and he just started talking. And he saw the patch. And I asked, look, do you know somebody who's got pain? Or I said, yeah, my wife. Yeah, she's got pain here. So I gave him some ice waves and Eon. And so I was so grateful to have the patches with me.
Yeah,
I really, really need to be mindful of it, to have it every day because we never know who we meet. Yes, sometimes it's
that's
oh
good.
no, I'm just going out. I don't need to take them with me, but I'm really kind of promising myself to have them all the time on me. It's lovely. So he wants to call
So
me.
good.
He wants to call me tonight, so I'm quite happy about that.
Let's go, Lucy. Congratulations. Yeah, I
Yeah.
found that like it's almost like when you have patches, somehow, some way, within a few days, they're gone. They just are. And it's on, and then you don't have them, and you're like, ah. But if you just carry them regularly in my truck or whatever, it's like, man, I always find somebody within a day or two to give that to. Hmm. Interesting. Christina, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to share something because I have quite some synchronicities since yesterday to this today's training with you here. So I had almost the same topic yesterday in our team training, and I made a content today on Instagram, which I called "Your Ego is Expensive," and I think this fits quite good into all what we heard until now here in this team call. And maybe it's okay when I just read it out if you want to hear it.
Yes, go for it.
So, your ego is expensive, not because it costs you money, but because it keeps you from becoming the person you could be. Your ego doesn't protect your future, it protects your current identity. It whispers things like, that's just who I am. That doesn't work for me. I don't need a coach. I already know that. And I'll do it my way. And that's where the real cost begins. Not in your bank account, but in your life, in the opportunities you never take, in the people you never learn from, in the doors that never open, in the years you spend going in circles, believing your circumstances need to change first. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they rather protect their ego than develop their character. Your ego wants to be right. Growth requires the willingness to be wrong and to learn. Every time you choose your ego over your willingness to learn, you pay a price. Maybe not today, but certainly in the future. The greatest hidden cost on the road to success isn't a lack of talent, it's an ego that's bigger than your willingness to grow. So,
Christina, you wrote that?
yeah.
That is very good.
Yeah.
You guys are talented. Let's go. Like, that's why I love when y'all talk because I'm like, I learned so much. This is so good. That's very good. You're exactly right. You are exactly right. I heard some people say ego, edging God out, right? Uh ego's the worst thing that you can have. I know it's so funny. Um we always get caught in our own ways sometime, don't we? Like so many times it's us that's the roadblock between us and where we really want to go. Good word. Good word. You guys, this was awesome. Thank y'all for sharing. Thank you so much for everybody that shared. Absolutely amazing. Jane, Lucy, Christina, Carrie, thank you guys so much. Jonah, appreciate it. Y'all go out and have a great Wednesday, and we'll see some of you I know tonight on another call. Bye, guys.